Hey guys, this is Cisco Soto, owner, operator, purveyor of the Curb Media Group here on the Three Count Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the Three Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And with this being, season 6 or 400 something episode, I would just hope you say it with me. I am your Sherpa, because like your tribal chief, acknowledge me. But like every good Sherpa, you gotta have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficient than you can. That's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. So who's entering the ring? You can find this man at SWO, HWF, ACW, RMPW, EPW. Just pretty much running around the whole Pennsylvania and Mid-Atlantic region. He is the monster with a quick finger. He is the man responsible for all your favorite shots, whether they were in TNA, WWE, AEW, doesn't really matter. All those big name companies, plus all of the indie companies. He is the founder of the Curb Media Group. He is Cisco Soto.
Man, I've never been introduced that way, so thank you. That man. Wow, wow.
Yo, man, but how you been?
I am wonderful, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent, man. I be living life, man. That's just what it is, man. It's
Good,
really what it is.
good.
So we've actually met a couple times, whether we are at Riot Maker or we were at HWF, kind of run into each other. I've been a fan of your work for a long time because I've been watching your work from SWO and just continue to see the Curb Media Group logo pop up here and there. And I was like, man, I hope one day this man
Thank you.
shoots one of my matches.
Yeah, we got to do that a few times so far. Not a
Yeah.
lot, but yeah, a few times so far.
I've been a fan of your work for a long time, and it's one of those things where it's like between Curb, Beachwick, and like Jay Lee photography, like y'all shots that you managed to get throughout the area is so noticeable because like you're just able to hit like key moments that like happen in a match that make it really big. I'm like every time I run into somebody who does like photography, I just get fascinated because it's like you just happen to be there at the right moment at the right time and just catch like the moment like beautifully.
Yeah, and then no, and not to say like you didn't ask a question, but I guess to fill that in, right? So a lot of it you have to most of the wrestling photographers, at least that I know that I speak to, they're actually like, obviously fans of pro wrestling. So a lot of it like you have to anticipate. So if you kind of know what's coming, you don't necessarily always get everything that you want sometimes. And even, there'll be sometimes I'll go back and I'll be like, this could have, missed that or missed this. But you kind of have to anticipate. So sometimes, you're a wrestler. Everything don't always go as planned, right? In the ring. There's things that, you wish you could have redid or, not your fault, right? Not the other guy's fault, but just timing was off. Something didn't go as well. But it's really just trying to get, if you my biggest thing is like when I get feedback and stuff from the work that I do from people that are non-wrestling fans, they're always like, "Damn, it looked like that was a good time." It's like, "Well, yeah, of course it was. Like I should have been there, or that looks like fun. I'll come out the next time." And sometimes they will. They'll come to a show. Um, that's really what to me what the work is about. I there's a lot of people like you named a few people, and there's plenty of others in this area. Sometimes you look at their work and whether they're starting out or whether they aren't, um, and just seeing people grow. I remember when I first started doing it. You saw like people, and it was more so like out of state, like in New York, and you would see like on the indies and people that do like what's my man Darko that does the MLW shows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
His work's great, and you kind of would see his stuff and that, and then see like okay, like people are taking this like a little more serious now, right? Like sports photography clearly is like always been a thing, but people never really did pro wrestling photography like as an art. I feel like up until maybe like 5 6 years ago, like it really became like a thing that it is now, and you've seen people evolve and change and everybody kind of has their little styles and everything they work with it, but it's really just trying to cover it and capture it in a way that makes people interested in the work. People that hate, most of my friends and people they know nothing about pro wrestling, absolutely nothing. But they're like, yeah, I'm always anticipate seeing the photos when they come out.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. Whenever I know like there's somebody out there that I'm looking forward to like working with, especially in the photography world, like I'm always like, yo, what can I hit in this match that I know that they're gonna be able to catch, right? And I like to talk to, especially having conversations. So it was something I learned from, another photographer was that like come have a conversation with me and tell me about what moments that you're looking to hit. That way I can capture them from like the right angle. And I never thought about it. And then finally I started talking more to photographers. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna hit this spine buster like right here. So I want you kind of like in this area so you can, you can
Mhm.
get everything captured. And there's some moments too that I wish I would have like told some people like to like get this moment, like when it's gonna happen. Like I was working in New Jersey. This dude pushed me. I pushed him back, and I took his leg off, and I just took it off.
Right,
And
but
I
unless
just
you told somebody, right, they wouldn't have known that
right,
was coming. Like, yeah,
right.
yeah,
And I wish I would have had that conversation. Like, hey, man, like this moment's gonna come up. Like, just be ready. It's gonna happen, and we'll make it look as natural as possible. But it's like it's so cool to be able to have those moments and get them captured because then your friends are all like my friends all like get excited whenever I post up like wrestling photos. I'm like, hey, check out the photography from this match, and they're like, whoa, like who was there that did this? Who like how professional is this? Like very
yeah,
like
yeah. No, and it's like and again, I can't speak for everybody else, but I usually when I get there, kind of simple stuff, right? You get there, put your bag down, little unwritten rules, go around, shake everybody's hand, make sure everybody knows you're there, greet everybody. But I usually get with whoever I knows like the booker or whoever's like in the main event or whatever, and like, all right, what am I looking for? What big spots? Is there title changes? Is there this happening or that happening? And they'll give me a full rundown. Hey, match one, look for blank. This is gonna happen. Match two, not really so much. It's gonna be a quick one. Hey, main event, we're doing this. Or um, like SWO, they'll say like, hey, we got one spot coming. It's gonna be on this side. Kind of position yourself. You'll know when it's about to happen. They'll do okay, so you know where to position yourself. Kind of either get low. You want it maybe a little wider, even like in the place where they shoot, they've done cage matches and stuff inside, and it's like, how do you get a wide shot sometimes, like when you're inside these fire halls? But you just, if you've been there enough and you pay attention, you can kind of catch like all of it. And they're just like, you make that place seem bigger than what it is, and it's like, yeah, like that's the point. But yeah, don't be shy, like to ask questions, like especially if this is the stuff that you want to do. Like go in, ask them. We know what pro wrestling is. It's performance. It's a show, and if they are paying for your time and your services, make sure you know that you hit your spots, just like anything. It's just like doing a wedding, right? You can only get that that first kiss one time, right? So
right.
somebody does that diving moonsault off the stage or the balcony or whatever else, you can't be like, you know what, I need you to stop, I need to go back up there and just do it again. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. It does not work that way.
Do it
Yeah,
from this angle. Well, and I
right, yeah, yeah. Sometimes you miss stuff, it happens, but yeah, you gotta be on it.
And I think it's important too. Like one of the things that I like to do is like like I said, like I play to the camera like all the time. Like there's like very few moments where I won't interact with the camera. And it's because like, probably in a match I'm like getting my ass kicked and I'm like, yo, I don't have time. But if I'm having fun with like the very beginning of a match or if I'm like up on a top rope and I'm posing like at the beginning, like I will definitely hit like every pose I can to think of. Or like one of my favorite things to do now is like when I come out the curtain, I look for the roaming camera and I just tell like to come to me and then just
Yeah,
like have a conversation with the roaming camera.
yeah.
But I think it's important to do it with photography too. Like you have to get those
But you
candid
could
shots.
tell you could tell the difference though between like the ones that have been doing it for a long time and the ones that haven't, because they'll stop, they'll give you like the 10 seconds, and or stop, give you that, or look at you, give you something else. Sometimes the ones that you could tell, like maybe been doing it a few years or not too often, they kind of they're constantly, but it's like, no, like you got to eat that up a little bit, like eat the camera up, if whether it's video, whether it's stills, like let that stuff soak in.
100%. I 100% agree. It's it's weird because I didn't know this at first, and it's one of those things that you kind of have to learn through the fire, right? So I remember no one taught me that you should pause at the beginning and just kind of give yourself like a little bit of time. I think if I remember right, because I was trained in Maryland with Sicken, and I don't remember like having like that entrance where like we're gonna practice this. So like I would blow through the entrance, right? Like just come out and just get fired up, and the crowd gets fired up with you too, and I understand why. But I was at Wrestling Open. It was a couple years back now, and I blazed through the curtain. I posed, I did a quick pose, counted to like myself. I thought I counted to three, but I must have counted to just
He
two,
just two, yeah, just
one,
ran
two,
out.
and then I just took off. And so like the second time they invite, I watched it back, and I was like, all right, we did a lot of good things here. We had a lot of crowd cheering for us. This was cool. I heard the crowd cheering for me. Like, all right, let's back this off. Let's figure out what we can do better. And so the next time you see me at the Wrestling Open, like I come through the curtain, I look right at the camera and I was like, hey, check it out. Right here. It's my name. Yeah, that's me. And then like I go off on my own. But it was
Yeah,
like
let it breathe, man. Like, yeah,
yeah.
let it breathe. We one of speaking you just brought up SWO, we were at it was one of the last times like Sunny Kiss wrestled there, it was maybe about like a year ago. And she was backstage telling two of the guys, like, take your time. Like I get it. Like you think you might only have like 8 minutes, whatever, 8 to 10 minutes, but that's a long time. And if you're just going out there and it's like spot, 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 and it's like you're not giving anything a chance to breathe, it's like it doesn't matter. Like moves, like the new thing, right? Is like moves don't matter, moments matter, right?
Yeah.
That's been the phrase that's been going around. It's like, yeah, yeah, you might remember a cool move, but how many other people can do it, right? But if you're giving them something that they can take back, like simple things, like you said, playing to the crowd, slowing down a little bit, just being a little more like conscious of what's going on around you, listening for the sounds and those things. But that's where you know even a videographer is like you just if you're paying attention to what they're doing, it's just like giving it everything time to breathe, and it makes those moments so much better.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think like, and a lot of people talk about like the less is more kind of treatment,
Hmm.
and I agree. I mean, I don't want to hit like 20 moves in an 8-minute match. I want to do maybe like three at
I know
best.
that. Right, and I know you said like we're gonna talk about the big guys, but sometimes that's what separates. Like people get in arguments about what's better, and sometimes like the spots after spots. Sometimes it's just like it just gets exhausting. It's like you're play setting, right? It's like all right, you did this, all right, now get up, go back over here. It's like and it's meaningless.
Yeah,
It just is just like okay, wow, that was awesome. It's like do you guys can physically do that? That is amazing. But then next month nobody cares. The next day nobody cares.
yeah,
And it's those small things where it's like why are entrances so important, right? Why is the music? Why is the lighting? Why is the pyro? All these different things. Some people love that even more than the matches themselves.
right. But I also think it goes back to, and it goes back to you, right? It goes back to like the photography side of things. If I hit 20 moves, how many moves are you really capturing?
Correct. Right.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you want those still frames so that you can post them up later, right? I mean, I look at like I don't know, I look at some of the other workers matches and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like if you would have cut like half that out, bro, this crowd still would have gone off as crazy,
Mhm.
and you probably got like 10 cool photos off of this one thing. My favorite thing about being a like I'll put the Wrestling Open on. Uh like I had like a 45-second squash match, right? But I had like 4 awesome photos come out of that, and I actually used them for like marketing. Like, yo, I'm like, yo, this is where I
Oh,
was.
yeah.
This is where I look.
Mhm.
You know, I think you got a photo of me too, like hitting like a jumping elbow, and the way it looks in the photo is that, like, it looks like I cleared at least 4 or 5 feet in the air, and I just look like
Right.
I'm soaring across.
Yeah. 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 That's the the trickery of it too. But it's a it's like where you say you never know sometimes like where you are. So you can't go walk into a place and go like, oh man, this place is a dive or it's this or it's that, right? It's like no, like kind of survey the place a little bit first, like see where you can get those angles and stuff. I always told Matt like I hated that building that we were in at the
Oh, the
but
community
the
center?
community. Oh my god, they had this. It's called refraction. So there was like a constant like red streak like going
Mm,
across like the oh man. And it was like you could luck like sometimes and not get it in frame. It was just awful. It was awful, awful. And the new place, it's just normal like last time it was a lot of natural light because it was summertime and they kept the
yeah.
bay door open a lot. And you could create a lot of different things just from that, like depending on what side of the room you stood on. But that other place was just a nightmare logistically. Like just to even on video, like if you just shot like straight down with like anything other than like a phone, because the phone can see so many different colors with the lenses, it didn't
Yeah.
matter. But man, anything else, it was just a nightmare. Like it just you try to clip something up outside in that ring, it was just terrible. Like I'd come back and look at the videos and be like, I don't understand how it's possible. Like how they ran there all that with that. Like we're able to get anything. But yeah, just yeah, and as I say all that was just kind of lead into there would be shots where it would everything was perfect, and then it was just the colors would be so bad because of that lighting issue. They would turn red and green like in and you couldn't save them.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff you guys probably haven't seen that came from that place is probably better than the stuff that you sent because it just you couldn't do nothing with it.
Right.
But those are problems like sometimes you can face like in certain places. Like if you're not there a little early, you can't get away of like where the lighting's at. Make sure your adjustments are good and you set your exposure and stuff right. Those things can happen, but outside of what you can control, yeah, for sure.
Well, and even like I said, looking at the photos and the way that you're able to strike like those good poses, and I do understand too, like natural lighting matters a lot
Hmm. Hmm.
because if otherwise, like you said, like you're getting spots and streaks of unnecessariness all over the place, and it can be annoying.
Yeah, even I mean, even in any like I do outside of wrestling, I just started using a flash like less than a year ago. I just hated it. Like I wouldn't do it. Like wouldn't do it. Wouldn't use it. Till like it was absolutely necessary. But yeah, I was just such a huge fan of just whatever light was coming in. That's what we're gonna use.
So, is there places that you want to work at that you haven't worked at yet?
Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, the mark answer is to be to work for WWE one day. I mean, but that's not that's not like a goal like I'm chasing. Like I've been able to have contacts with TNA twice and got to meet the guy that runs their marketing and talent and everything in there and have conversations with him. I was just at Emergence on Friday in Baltimore and got a chance to just talk to him and just thank him for because they you pretty much like you go as long as they put you on like you can pretty much do whatever you want, and they're so open now with everything. It's like a completely different vibe and atmosphere. And yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough. Like I never really thought of that. Like that's what I said. It was like, yeah, of course, that's the easy answer. But I've got to meet so many people just doing what I've been doing, like locally. Like I always tell this like the best thing I've ever did was I met Rob Van Dam and was always a huge Rob Van Dam fan, always. And sometimes you meet these guys and you've been around, and sometimes some of them aren't too nice. Just say that, but he was so gracious. Like man, it was just like you'd just been with him the day before, right? And that was just so like just talked and talked and talked. And there was other people in the room who were just like scared to go over and just say hi to him. So he was one of the nicest people you ever meet. But just being just happy to be consistent like with my work and know that people that I'm wanted, people want me at their shows and their events is really kind of what the goal is, just to be consistently booked. And yeah, do I want to expand? And we've had some opportunities to get outside of Pennsylvania a little bit. Another opportunity came up to go to Maryland toward the end of the month. So it's just staying consistent. Like being healthy is a blessing these days. Like a huge blessing. But no, I mean, I want to work for AEW. I want to be able to shoot for them at least once. I want to be able to shoot for WWE at least once. But outside of the big guys, it's like I worked for. We did work for CZW twice and been there. TNA, TNA twice now. Um, Yeah, I mean, and probably every other place it's been, it like if I usually reach out, I have like no issues. Done death matches and done all the different styles and been yeah. So I'm just happy, man. Like I really say that all the time. Like I'm happy, I'm fortunate, man. I really am.
Mm. No, I like it though because like I said, like you have an eye. I sorry, I've only seen a couple of like talented photographers be able to get the shots that you're able to get, and like so it's very noticeable when you find guys who are like who just have an eye of understanding like what's happening around them in the surrounding area, and then capture that moment right when it's happening is super cool to me. So that's why I'm like, damn man, my man got to get out to like we got to get him out further and bring him out more
Oh
places.
yeah, no, and every time I talk to somebody, they're like Phil Stamper has been great too. Like just I was always like, hey, like reach out to talk to this guy, do this, do that, and it's like yeah, and then I'll do it, and usually I'll get the yeah, come through, come on out, we'll talk, and Matt Stokes has been awesome like as well. It's like always put me over like every chance he gets, and he's just one of the best people I've been fortunate enough to work with and work for. Um, but yeah, we try to do what we can to expand. And I say we like it's a small team of us. I mean, I've trained my son a little bit to do some videography work. Jeremy Cross, he works with me sometimes as well. He usually does like not like car racing, like
Mm,
photography. He's a good photographer in his own right. Outside of that, um, but yeah, just trying to put the crew in a place that just makes sense. And sometimes guys like we've been places and there's some negatives that come with it too, so we don't like speak on that all the time, but there's some negatives. There's places that we probably won't ever go back to, and it's
mm.
just because I'm big on respect. Just a simple thing like hey, how you doing, something like that. But if you just treat me like I'm the help, I'm too old. I wish you said as an as an answer. I'm like I'm too old. Like I'm not here just because this person's here, that person's here. It's like, yeah, that's an added bonus. That's an added plus. That's a cool thing, but that doesn't bother me like too much. I'm big on that. If I ask you a question, if you don't answer me or you don't anything else, then I have no interest or anything else. And I'm not fan dogging you. I'm not running down on you. I'm not gonna keep asking you. I'm too old. I gotta move on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
if I get questions, just being straight, like I'll get asked questions like, "Oh, why don't you do such and such no more?" I'm like, they don't answer me back. I asked them a question one time, they didn't respond. I was there for a while. Now I stopped going. Like it's that simple. I have no desire to go back.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm big about respect and like and I too am old. So I'm
Yeah, yeah, man. And I, and I say, we get past a certain age, you start to look at things and people and the surroundings and stuff like a lot different. And like I said, I take my son with me. He's 16, and I think it's been good. Like he was with me all last weekend. We did two wrestling shows, and then a friend of mine, Freddie Graves, we just premiered his documentary. So we helped with that a little bit, and we actually put the event on for him to do it. But just explaining those things was like, if people don't want you there, don't put yourself there.
yeah,
Like there's no reason. Like you should never. And people say like, "Oh, I don't beg to be at the table." It's not about begging or being there. It's just like, hey, like if you reach out respectfully, ask questions or whatever, and they don't, then just move on, man. It's that simple.
it
And
is.
hmm
You don't got to work nowhere that nobody wants to have.
nah, no, and just sometimes like I'm not big on the pat on the back or the appreciate like you telling me all this stuff right now is very humbling to me because I never look for the praise or the applause. I do what I do, and it means a lot though. I'll tell you that, but I'm not looking for it, so I don't need you to pump me up to be at your show. Like that's great, but the other part of it is like, hey, we've been around now long enough. The work has spoken for itself. We've been other places. We've done that, and just say like, "Hey, you need a hand Saturday, you need a hand Friday, I'm available, this and that." Now there's too many people here already. Okay, no problem.
Yep.
So yeah, no problem, man. No problem. It wasn't I ain't asked you for a dime, I ain't asked you for anything, whatever, and we've had some experiences like that where people invite us to places, we'll go and we'll start doing and it's like, like, who are you? It's like, well, I talk to X, Y, and Z, and it's like, okay. So professionally, it's like you stay, show's done, you deliver what you promised to deliver, and then like that's the end of that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's my thought process too. Like, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna be respectful, I'm gonna talk to everybody, we're gonna have a good time,
yeah.
but the moment that I start to feel disrespected, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, man,
Yeah,
like."
yeah, and uh, I've only been around you a few times, so that's speaking for you. But it's like rather than get angry, rather than like say something or whatever, it's like, hey, just cool, thank you, thank you. But now I can just go on to the next thing respectfully. Yeah.
Well, I actually and it's funny because, like, it'd been a while since I had been back at HWF, right? And when I got back, Zach Rain was there, and we started talking and stuff, and he goes, "Dude," he goes, "I go to so many different locker rooms, and all I ever hear about is, dude, Red Dog is one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and I
Mhm.
love being around him." And I'm like, that means a lot because, like, I don't get into this, like, I'm in this because I've always wanted to do this, but more importantly, like, as I learn the rules of what's supposed to be happening and what you do behind the scenes,
Right.
like, you're gonna see more of who I am and just
Yeah.
naturally what I'm gonna be about, and I'm a really big about respect, like, give and get. Like, you give a lot of respect, you're gonna get a lot of respect, and those who don't wanna give that respect, that's fine. There's
Mhm.
a million people out there, and I don't have to be friends with everybody, so I'm just like,
No, nope. I mean, there's people like I'll see online, they'll talk, say stuff, and I'll see them in person, they'll walk right past you. It's like, hey, you was oh, okay.
"Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it either. But
yeah." Unless,
no.
like, you're trying to be like an MJF type heel, like, alright,
Yeah, but I don't. For
you
what
can.
for what we do, I can't. I don't know. There's never been any character photographers. I don't think that've been
Yeah,
heels. I don't know.
no.
I could maybe work on that persona for next year. Might be something to add to it. But no, it. Yeah, like you go up there. Those guys are great. Like they're so welcoming and inviting. Really insane with the SWO crew. Like we started out, we did. I live in York, so I don't know if you knew that, but I live in York, Pennsylvania, and we started really with Valor Pro Wrestling and
Yeah,
CCW, Rob Noxious and those guys, and that is like such a family oriented like promotion because like those guys have all been together and done everything they've been doing like for forever and a day, so they're always like my first big thanks. We did a documentary on BJ Walker. I don't know if you're familiar with BJ.
I am familiar with BJ.
Yeah, so we love BJ. And they were so gracious just to like let us do pretty much whatever we wanted from the rip. And it was really when we started doing photography professionally and videography work, we had no money, no nothing. We made that documentary with literally two cameras that we got off of camcorders that we bought on Amazon for like $200 and just nothing, and just for maybe like a month and a half, everywhere he went, followed him around, and those guys are just like, you know, yeah, man, like say this, say that, and it's funny because a lot of the memories and stuff just started popping up like on Facebook and like in the Google Photos of all that. But they were just so welcoming and so inviting, and everything that they do, I try to get to as well, and and they're just always so appreciative of everything you do, and that's where, like you said, the respect part. It's like would never, no matter what would go on or anything, would never say anything. Never say anything bad about them. Yeah, love those guys.
We've had a lot of those guys on the show too. Like, I have had great conversations with Rob Noxious. Like,
Mhm.
we had an
Rob will
episode.
give it to you straight. Like Rob will give it to you
Yeah,
straight. Yeah.
and we was in, like, this was crazy. So it was the first year that we started doing this show, right? And we brought him on the show and we talked to him and we had a great time having a conversation with him, and, like, and then we brought on so many of those guys. I've had so many, all the dudes that were wrapped around with Valley, you know, Walls came on the show. We've had talks with him. Like, there's so many people that we've loved having conversations with, and, like, I've been meaning to circle back around it and try to do like a round two with those guys too, because the one thing is like you start to do like so much of like of the episodes that you've been doing, and then you kind of like have to go back and look like, oh yeah, how far have I, like for me too, right?
Yeah,
You
and
mentioned
things change for people, like in a small
yeah,
and even yeah, even in a year, like you can see how different like the scope is around here.
yeah. That's what I
Uh,
was like. How far have you grown since you last had a conversation with this person? And I
Right.
think that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I kind of want to see like where my mindset is versus where it was when I first started talking with those guys.
Hmm. Yeah, because again, like you said, you mature as a person, and you can see the difference in the respect that you get when you go other places, and it makes you appreciate the things that you are doing, more so than just showing up and being there. Um, yeah, it never a foul word, never anything. It's just so just like everybody's just happy to be there, man, and it's good. It is so
Facts.
so good. Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite shot that you have taken?
Hmm. One of funny enough, one of them for a while was Rob Noxious, and it was. And I'm trying to remember where it was at. I think it was in Harrisburg for RWF when that was Mal Havoc's promotion, right? That was running for a while, and I don't know if they did it on purpose. And I can't remember his buddy's name. That was his manager for the longest time when Rob was a champion, and they did the only built for Cuban links cover, and they was like behind him, like, and it was like I don't know if they did that on purpose, and I didn't even catch it until like when I posted the photos the next day. His buddy put the picture like side by side with it, and it was like, oh yeah. Yeah, we had photos. Madman Pondo was up there. The
Mm,
one show, and they were stapling like dollar bills to his head. I got one of them, and sweet Artemis Walls, like sexy psycho Adrian Bliss. There was the stadium show where Rob Van Dam wrestled, and him and Rob did a hardcore match for the title, and his forehead was busted open, and it's like this, like just right there, but it was like right, perfectly in frame,
mm.
and you just see it coming on. Those those two probably be probably like two of my personal favorites. I've gotten some good shots. Like we went to TNA last year, and it was the first time Nick Nemeth and Alex Shelley ever wrestled, and capturing that, just being able to capture that, and then the first CZW show we did, it was the first ever one-on-one match between Leo Rush and Rich Swan,
Mm.
and that was like being there early, watching them like go over things and talk, and then when the match actually happened, it was like okay, like and like sometimes for yourself, you're like, yeah, this is important. It might not mean nothing like today or in the moment, but then sometimes then you post those photos and you get like a little bit of acknowledgement from those guys. It goes a little. It's like yeah, but some of those things are just that stadium show that they did in Lancaster the first time, and they had Rob Van Dam and those guys there, and the crowd that they drew, like it meant so much to them, and it was like a huge night. It was like a huge night, and they, like I said, Santino Morella and all these people just so happy, like they're just to be there and just talk and everything. But from that show, probably the one with Art being busted open and the Shelly one. Yeah.
No, those are some awesome moments to be able to capture. Like, especially if you get some like Nick Nemeth and Alex Shelley together in the ring, like
Mhm.
that's crazy.
Yeah, like it yeah, when you just love wrestling just in general, and then you these moments and stuff, and they're just built up like that, and you're just, I mean, hell, even when uh when Matt and Roddy won the tag belts that night. Were you there for that show last
No.
summer? Man, and the people in there cried like like just lost it. And you get caught up sometimes like in those things where you're just like wow, like I mean, lost it. People were just standing ringside just bawling their eyes out and stuff, man, because those guys won the tag titles. And you're just like, you can't, I don't give a shit what anybody says about pro wrestling. I'm like, those things like that, like they're real. They matter to people. and just being there for that and getting those reactions and getting all that, those are every show you get something, right? Whether it's like a kid or something that's, there, but those very few things that stand out sometimes. Yeah.
100%. I
Yeah.
100% agree. And I love, so like me personally, I love like being able to get those moments with kids too. Like I think back to the last HWF show, not the one with but the one I work with Sicken. We
Mhm.
had this moment where we brought in a couple kids in the ring and we kind of just had like a little moment with them. And I think that that's like, it's one of my favorite moments because it's like, yo, like this is who you end up doing it for ultimately. So like,
Mhm.
you have this connection with a couple kids and it's fun. And my one of my favorite things too is just having conversations with kids like afterwards, right? So I lost I lost Isaiah and I dropped the title and kids
Mhm.
were coming to me afterwards. Oh man, like thought you were gonna kick out. I didn't know he was gonna cheat, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And it was just that moment of just like being able to chat with kids and just like
Yeah.
they're like trying to console me. And I was like, nah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough, you know.
And like we were talking a little bit, a couple of minutes before we came on. It's like, and then you see people always arguing and stuff, and it's like, the biggest thing is like, man, just watch the show, and you go to shows and you see the way kids and stuff. It's like, it's such a different thing to them, like
Yeah.
that, yeah, and it does make it, and even the more passionate adults, right? It's like for better or for worse, they can get a little too angry sometimes, and the happiness, but it's yeah, if anything can make you feel like in any way, it's a good thing, and that's why I'm just so happy sometimes just being able to do what we do.
Yeah, 100%. Yo, we gonna take this over to my favorite part of the Three Count Podcast, which is the Three Count Podcast 10 count questions. Mr. Soto, this is how it works. I'm gonna fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast, and whatever your answer is, that is your answer.
These one word answers.
If you want them to be.
Okay.
So we're gonna put on the imaginary timer for added pressure.
Okay.
Bing! And in the words of my favorite commentator, Mike Goldberg, here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
Raw.
Favorite cartoon?
Hmm. Yeah, now I can hear the Jeopardy bells going off. Man, ever might be it's a tie, and that's a cop out, but it's X-Men the animated series and Batman the animated series.
It's because those are like the goats of like anime.
Yeah, yeah, and it's hard. It's like the X-Men, like toward the later seasons, got like bad,
Yeah,
but those first like two seasons are just so good. And this is kind of same with Batman, because then it was became like Batman and Robin, and it was like no, it's just those first, and then some of those episodes are so powerful, like the Clayface episodes and like the
bruh.
Harvey when Harvey Dent changed to Two Face and stuff, and they're yeah, yeah. So
Well,
it's
I
it's a
think
tie between them. I was a big GI Joe kid too. I love GI Joe.
so for me, especially with X-Men, Days of Future Past, that whole
Mhm.
run was
Yeah. Yeah,
amazing.
I remember we recorded them, yeah, they were showing our age, but recorded those on tape, and I remember had them, like, back to back, and we had a whole tape that had, like, a bunch of the episodes on it, and, man, I ran that thing into the ground. We watched Days of the Future Past like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, Days of Future Past, and then the other one was I think it was called The Night I Almost Caught Batman. It was a two-parter,
When
but
they're
it
sitting around playing cards, right?
playing
And they're
poker.
they're going,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, and all the villains are sitting there, yes, and they're all
telling their
sharing stories and
stories.
stuff,
I like, bruh.
and then he just kinda, like, appears in the end, like, and
Yeah,
everybody's that he almost got
he had
that's
the
what I was like,
joke.
"Almost got him." Yeah, and they kept saying, "Yep."
Yeah, I think that's what it was called, right? The Almost Got Him or
Yeah, something like that,
something
yeah,
like that. That was
yeah,
such a great episode because it,
yep,
like, showcased exactly, like, how, like, Mark Hamill did, like, the most amazing job with the Joker, and then that episode
yeah.
in particular, it showed, like, how crafty he was at, like, coming up with certain quirks that would later just live in
It
infamy.
was part of it, yeah, and it became just
Yeah,
part of it, yeah.
it was amazing. Alright, waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Alright. Favorite movie?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Let's go. Like
Yeah,
the OG Johnny Depp getting killed in it, right?
yeah, I've I've probably seen that one, and I love 1, 3, and 4.
Okay.
4 gets a lot of crap, but I love part 4. 3 3 arguably might be the best one of the series, but 1 is like my
And
all
so I'm
time.
trying to picture. So I know 1 was Johnny Depp, 3 was Lawrence Fishburne, right?
Ernest Fishburne's yeah, it's the Dream Warriors.
Okay, and that's the one where old
In the
boy turns.
hospital, yeah, in the puppet.
Yeah,
The
well, no,
best
I'm not thinking of Puppet, I'm thinking, the comic book, right?
No, no, that's 5.
Oh, okay, well, that's why.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm a true Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, yeah, we could that could be a whole nother that could be a whole nother hour. Yeah.
That's my
No,
favorite one.
that's yeah, yeah, go back and watch 3 if you haven't seen it in a long time.
I'm gonna have
It's yeah, Dream Warriors is yeah, it's almost like everybody always argues like what's the best sequel and it's like, "Oh, Godfather 2." It's like, "Ah, it might be Dream Warriors, man."
mm,
Empire Strikes Back, it's like, "Ah, it might be Dream Warriors." Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I can see. Marvel or DC?
DC.
Alright, favorite TV show?
Ah. All right, another cop out. So I'm gonna give you 5. I have to because it can go like The Wire,
Okay,
The Sopranos, The Simpsons,
mm,
X Files, and Breaking Bad.
yeah, I I can see
Any
all of them,
anytime, and The Wire, I think still doesn't get the appreciation because I'm still always seeing people that are like just discovering it now, which was awesome, right? Because of the streaming and stuff, you can get it like on demand, like anytime you want. But went back last year and watched The Sopranos from the beginning, and it's like it still holds up, doesn't miss a beat. And Wire is just one of the things The Wire does effectively that none of these other shows do. Because I sometimes you would get people say, "Oh, it's kind of boring, it's kind of slow." It's like no, because you got used to like Law and Order, where the criminals do everything they want them to do, so they could catch them in 40 minutes,
yeah,
and they, yeah. So it's like you like as a viewer, you got trained to be like, well, nothing's happening. They didn't catch them. It's like it might take them 12 episodes, but they'll get there. But
yeah.
it's a slow, yeah. They actually do police work and investigations, and the criminals are actually intelligent people with lives and families and everything too. It plays the dynamic very well.
I 100% agree. Alright, Apple or Android?
Both,
Okay, I
both,
like it.
yeah, yeah.
Favorite podcast?
This one, no, just it's like yeah, of course, yeah.
Of course,
Um,
you the GOAT.
yeah, yeah, probably. I listen to probably Bill Simmons more than anybody else and Joe Budden's podcast. That's probably the 2 that are if it's not depending on what Bill's talking about and then what Joe's talking about, but it's either one of the 2.
I just started getting into Joe Budden's podcast. Um, I could be fair, like I just didn't really check it out. But then I saw him talking about the WWE, and I was like, "All right,
Yeah,
I'm
he went to Raw, when were they in Brooklyn? Like 2 weeks ago, 2, 3 weeks
yeah,
ago at
2,
Raw?
3 weeks ago."
And just how like everything we were talking about earlier, like he was just like blown away by the spectacle of it. And some of the guys on the show are huge wrestling fans. Like they watch everything. So like right after WrestleMania, they would have a say, they'll talk about it and stuff. And he would like, give him a couple minutes. He wouldn't say anything because he didn't watch it. He didn't know.
Yeah,
But then you saw like that, like when he got to see it in person, he was like, wow. And then everybody having a good time and all the people he knew were there and like everything else. But what I like about the format they do now, especially like how long the show is, if there's stuff that you just want to listen to, you can kind of click ahead and find those talking points and stuff in the show instead of like, I don't have 3 hours to listen to the whole show, but I want to hear your take on this that happened last week. So I'm going to click that part and listen to that. Yeah.
I do, and see, that's what I kind of wish the Joe Rogan Experience would do that same thing. But I understand why, because they want you to listen to the whole conversation.
I
But I'm
know, but
like,
it sometimes it's just like it's too much. Like
and I pick and choose. Like I'll pick and choose. Like if I see a certain guest that I'm like excited about,
Mhm.
I'll go watch the whole episode. But otherwise, I'll be fair. I probably listen to in its entirety maybe 100 episodes, and
Yeah.
that's
And he's
still a
been on
lot.
for what, like
Yeah,
10, 15 years. Yeah, I know, but
yeah,
it's like, yeah, it's a lot to consume sometimes.
right.
Yeah.
All right. So nominate one person that you want to see on this podcast.
Well, who hasn't been? Who hasn't been?
in the DMV and
That we
PA
know. I
area.
know, right? Yeah, that hasn't been.
I feel like I've ran through the whole area. I mean, like I said, this is
You
like
should get Ken. You should get Ken on that does Ken or Nate from SWO.
okay.
You should
I
get
like
one of them on and have them talk. They have uh with what they've been able to do past 2 years, I'll say.
yeah.
The way that they've changed their formatting and their storytelling and the way that they've been able to map things out and go month to month and tell a cohesive story, even with realistic things that happen. Sometimes people can't make it. Sometimes people just don't show up, like whatever else. There are ways to maneuver and navigate and just be consistent in like month in and month out, tell good stories and have like shows top to bottom on the card. I really really mean that. Like they yeah.
Yeah.
My only wish is like more people would come. That's all. And I don't work for them directly, but I believe in what they've been doing. I truly do.
Yeah, there's a lot of like good wrestling in the Pennsylvania area,
Mhm.
and I get hyped looking at all of it, right? So like SWO, HWF, SWA, I
Mhm.
love
Yeah.
SWA 814. And I love the stuff that's going on with PPW right now. So I'm just like, bro, like I just
Yeah.
trying to pay attention to all of it in the Pennsylvania area. There's a lot of good wrestling that goes on that people don't talk about. I mean, for a little while too, like the Wrestling Independent was there and in Philly, and like, man, that place was crazy, like getting
Yeah,
busy. And
but like again, like wrestling's hot right now.
yeah,
Like regardless of what you think and feel, it's like wrestling's hot right now. So if you can afford to take a family, a couple people, whatever, there's usually the same people are there every month. God bless them, and there's stuff to eat, and it's not expensive, and there's merch. There's anything else that you can go get anywhere else. They're so good that there are people there, and all the independents around here are. So I'm not just saying just them, but they all typically are. Like we did ACW went to Red Lion and Matt Riddle was there and James Ellsworth and those guys and you just see like and it was funny enough there was like a totally different crowd from even what goes to SWO and it's right up the street and around the corner but yeah so it's like hey if you're able to support them and there's enough going on that there's always something that that could fit what you want to see.
I'll tell you a fun story about that ACW event after tonight. After this happens, after we get done. All right, last question for you.
uh,
And I love asking this question to every single person that comes on this podcast. Favorite curse word?
oh man. You can I'll quote the great Bernie Mac, um, motherfucker. And the word motherfucker is a noun. It describes a person, place, or thing. You can use it in any way to articulate any point you want to make. It can be joyful. You can be motherfucker. Just be happy. Just say it can be angry. Motherfucker. Like, or that motherfucker over there. Yeah, but it fits. It
It's
fits
everything.
anyway. It's everything. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, those are all my questions I have for you. So the last thing I need you to do is let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Cisco Soto. You can find me like the Curb Media Group page on Facebook. Follow us there. You can follow me on Instagram at Cisco underscore Soto. Um, we're still working on a website. That's the only thing we got to do. But mainly we use the Facebook page as our biggest platform to showcase our work. So yeah.
Bad. Well, he gave you the handles. He told you where you can find them, and then even told you about how you could look it up on Facebook with the Curb Media Group. So, what does that mean? Like every great part of a wrestling match, we gotta take this home. Cause this is the Three Count Podcast Possessed Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain to go wrestling. And like I said at the beginning of the show, like every good shirt press never about me, it's about who's entering the ring. So who's entering the ring? The master with the trigger finger right there, Cisco Soto, aka the founder of the Curb Media Group. And you guys know what to do. Tune in to the next episode and be there, or you're legitimately subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're following us on Spotify, you're leaving us those 5-star frog splash reviews off of the top turnbuckle onto your Apple device, and then, letting everybody know about how great we are doing. You even check us out on Amazon Music or that dumb app with the stupid jingle that goes, iHeartRadio, or whatever it is. You're buying our merch on ProWrestlingTees.com. You're even buying our merch on ForYourWear.com. You're telling your mom about it, your dad about it, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your best friend, your grandma, your grandpa, and your cousins, and your enemies too, because we love haters too. You're doing all that stuff, or really, you're just kind of waiting for this episode to end, waiting for that outro, and then choosing another episode to listen to. Kawaii. What's up? It is your friendly neighborhood Red Dog, and thank you for checking out this episode of the 3 Count Podcast. Whether that was Chaz and Friends, Red Dog Friends, Damien Friends, The Film Styles, Now Into the Ring, Now Entering 201, or Now Returning to the Ring, all those good episodes, you should really be liking, commenting, and even sharing this with your friends, family, whoever it may be. But what you all should be doing is checking us out on all of our social media platforms at 3 Count Pod, whether that's on IG, Twitch, you can check us out on Threads, whatever it may be. And if you go check us out on X, it is 3count_pod. Check us out on YouTube, as well as Facebook, on Rumble, on Apple Music, on Spotify, all those fun things. Tell your mom about us, your dad about us, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, and your best friends and your enemies, because we love haters too. Do all that stuff. And then, last but not least, buy our merch on ForYourWear.com or ProWrestlingTees.com. Kawaii.